Hey guys.
Hi guys.
So we really wanted to do this because it's kind of long overdue. We wanted to give everybody a chance out there to kind of see the movie and decide, because we usually would like to do movie reviews spoiler free, but it's kind of impossible with this movie.
Oh my
because
God, yes.
you kind of got to share in all of it, and if you haven't seen it yet, just don't watch this
Stop
yet.
now.
Yeah, and watch it a little later once you see the movie, so we can kind of have a conversation about what you truly think about the movie, and what you're excited for, what you are kind of upset about, and all the things in between. So let's start this review. So I think the best way to start this review is we're just gonna go one by one each character.
We're gonna try to go one by one.
Yeah, and talk about what we thought, really kind of how they played in this movie, and what their character was like. So let's start with the guy that really kind of
stole the show.
In a way, yeah. Iron Man. So Iron Man in this movie was so much better. He was so much better than probably any movie I've ever seen him in. Just as, yeah, his personality definitely, but his like armor and just the way he interacted and fought.
Face shots that they had, because I didn't realize Robert Downey Jr. could have so many different interactions with his face. He was just kind of like, he would make like one eyebrow raise and you knew exactly what he meant, what he thought, and you could tell if he was being sarcastic, serious, or what, and I loved that.
Yeah, I mean, just the way he fought in this really kind of made him look much more just awesome.
Oh yeah,
he looked like he could really take on anybody out there. And that's
he did.
And then
he
we
had
saw
that confidence.
He did. He had a lot of confidence, and we saw later in the movie when he fought Hulk. We got to see the Hulkbuster outfit, which was so
awesome.
cool. I mean, just the size and the sheer awesomeness of it was cool, but how cool was it that there was a satellite that would pop out body parts when he would break them? That was so cool. I mean, I love that. And like we said, Robert Downey Jr. in the movie was amazing.
Oh my God.
And he was very kooky and hilarious, and just there were so many like comedy things in it that were really just awesome in a way. And you can't talk about Iron Man unless you talk about Hulk.
I liked how he wasn't like ungodly big. He was like a normal size compared to
the other I feel like they did shrink him a little bit. I don't know if that really was, but it felt like they did shrink him. So
that everybody got a little bit bigger. I don't know.
But out of almost all the characters, I think I have the most to say about about Hulk, because I did have a lot of problems with the story of Hulk. Maybe Thor more. So we'll talk about that later. But up next, let's talk about the two, Bruce Banner and Iron Man, making Ultron. So that was amazing, right?
That was so freaking cool. And such a bad idea.
Yeah, such a bad idea. What were you thinking, right?
Right.
So, obviously, you know, it was the scene where Ultron, the computer, fought Jarvis.
Oh my God, I was like, no!
That was really cool.
It was good.
I just think the way they did that was just really kind of neat. That just like where they kind of throw you around in like the circuit board of their mind. That was a really cool scene, and just to add to the special effects in the movie was pretty amazing.
I loved how Jarvis kept saying, "Let me call Mr. Stark. Let me call Mr. Stark." And I'm like, no, don't hurt Jarvis. It was so sad.
And then, you know, Ultron makes his appearance after the comedy scene. Let's talk about the comedy scene, which is really funny.
That was so funny.
So Marvel likes to do that.
Really worthy.
Marvel kind of begins their movies with comedy, and I'm not a fan necessarily of an entirely comedic movie.
Like,
this movie kind of pressed that.
There needs to be an even playing field of comedy and seriousness.
I like the seriousness, to be honest with you, but you know, this one at the beginning was just amazing. It was one of the best scenes as far as comedy I've seen. So, you know, they're all around the table, and you know, Thor's kind of showing off.
Yeah, he's like,
you can't lift it, you're not worthy, right? And everybody's trying, and nobody can do it, right? And then Captain America goes up to
it. Gets it!
And you can see Thor between his arm, you know, at the camera angle. And he just moves it just slightly. And the facial expression that Chris Hemsworth made was just great. It was so slight.
Yes.
But you could see the worry on his face, like, oh, haha. And then he goes right back into laughing like nothing happened. It was great.
And I loved how Black Widow's character was just kind of like, oh, I ain't got nothing to prove. I don't need to do this.
Oh, no, that's not a question I need answered.
The handle's imprinted. Whosoever is carrying Thor's fingerprints is, I think...
That really was a good scene to show how the Avengers had come together as a team, and you know, they're all just kind of relaxed because nothing's going on. You know, we did get the fight scene at the beginning, but nobody could take on the Avengers. Even the bad guys are scared of the Avengers. Everybody knows the Avengers are impossible, so they're relaxed. They're just kind of doing their thing.
They're chilling.
It was a good contrast to what's about to happen. Right. So we saw pretty soon Ultron, in a way, you know, well, he wasn't in his redone body, he was done in a crappy Iron Man suit that was torn up.
Apart.
Yeah, you know, he's like, no strings on me, you know, it's an awesome scene.
How could you be worthy? You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
Everybody was like, whoa, that was really cool, you know? And then we heard him talk, and then we heard him the way that I was not expecting the comedic performance from Ultron.
I wasn't either. I was expecting more of a dark, crazy guy more than just kind of like, hey.
He was very just whimsical, and I was like, okay, well, let's see where it goes, you know? So Ultron's character, I was totally not expecting Ultron to be that way.
I wasn't either.
I really thought he was going to be mean and hardcore, and he might be that later on down the road because we know he's not dead yet, you know. Yeah, even though it looked like it, he's got to come back, right? Yeah, so that was really cool. But was it Thor? I think it was Thor that smashed him up base at the end. I know Captain and Thor were destroying him, and then eventually they just boom. Yeah, I think he threw Mjolnir, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he did too.
But anyway, I don't remember. That's one thing to talk about the movie is so many things happened that could have been a fault in the movie. That it's hard to remember everything that happened because there was so much going on. So you can take that as whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's hard to say. But they smashed him. His body was done. They thought everything was okay. Well, then we learn later that he ends up. He's a computer. He's the internet basically, so you can't destroy him.
And through the interwaves.
Yeah, he went through the interwaves, and then he built himself a new body, which we'd see him later down the road. And we'll go over that later when we talk about Vision. Yeah, Vision. Anyways, so up next is Captain America. I think as a leader of the Avengers, he did very well in this movie.
Oh my god, I love his character, and I love the actor who plays Captain America because he looks perfect.
Best Captain America by far. I couldn't think of a better one. I couldn't think of it. He's definitely not Human Torch. Oh god.
Yeah, and then what was that horrible line that he said in there? Language, right?
Yeah, language.
Language.
They keep playing with this language thing as a comedy thing. Wasn't a big fan of it, but I get it because he's like he's the clean guy.
Yeah,
you know?
he's from a different time era where you didn't use the kind of language we use today in our society. So I thought it was kind of a nice little throwback to where he originally is from.
And you know, he's the leader. He's expected to be that good guy, that clean guy. You know, Captain America. You know, he's always been one of my favorite superhero just based off of just being awesome, you know? He's very clean, he's very Boy Scout, he's very just, he's a great guy to look up to as a comic book hero. Maybe more so than any other comic book hero.
Well, especially for Americans because, you know, he's like, he represents us in a way that we like, so.
Yeah, he just represents really any good, you know, whether it be American or not, you know, the whole idea of you know what America is or how it became,
or how it should be,
more more or less. But you know, that's what he represents, and I thought that they did that well, and I thought that his scenes in the movie were okay, even though there wasn't a lot of them. They're definitely setting up.
Should be more.
They're definitely setting him up for his next movie, obviously, which once again we'll go over that at the very end of this movie. So up next we have Thor. Thor is. He had the worst. He
was not in this movie enough. I'm just going to say that right now because Thor is too pretty to look at to not be in this movie.
The problem with Thor's position in this movie was, well, first off, we know that Joss Whedon had to cut a lot of this film out.
Yeah,
so we know that. And he did say that a lot of that was the story of what the heck Thor was doing.
I feel like all Thor did in this movie was he's like, I'm here. And
I'm not.
I'm gone.
I'm here.
Like, what the?
Where'd he go? Yeah, so Thor's, I just think things got cut that shouldn't have been cut that explained what he was doing because he was there, he wasn't there, although we did get an awesome...
He, appears with all this knowledge and you're like, wait, what?
Where'd you go? Yeah, but we did get some, it looked like some things about, you know, Black Panther, so that looks cool. So I think they're kind of showing, hey, we got the Black Panther film coming out, and so they were hinting at that, which I thought was really cool. So we knew what Wakanda and Vibranium and just some really cool stuff. And I know later down the road, it appears obviously that Ultron is going to get a new body in Vibranium. And if you don't know what Vibranium is, We do know Black Panther is in the works, the next movie, and it was cool to see just some hints and some slight things like they were talking about vibranium and Wakanda, and if you don't know what vibranium is, it's basically a metal that's only in Wakanda. Wakanda is where Black Panther's from. It's like as hard as adamantium, which is, you know, Wolverine claws. So it's super hard, and Black Panther has a suit that's made out of it. So, and he's like, I think he's like he's almost as rich as Tony Stark in the Marvel Universe, so he's super rich. He's kind of almost, in a way, the Batman of the Marvel Universe, in a way, because he's super rich and he has a lot of tech, but he doesn't really have superpowers. There's some magic in there, but, you know, we'll digress. But we're really excited about that movie because it sounds like it's gonna be really awesome. But we'll put that aside and go back to this review, and we'll talk about Hawkeye next.
I loved Hawkeye's character in this because I feel like this was Hawkeye's redemption in this movie.
Yeah.
Because we learned so much about his character and that he has a family, a wife, and kids, and that he has a house in the middle of God knows where.
And he realizes, maybe most importantly, that he has no powers and he really doesn't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
And that was what's interesting, because when he was in the subway and he was having that conversation with Scarlet Witch, and he was like, "Look, I'm just a superhero.
I'm just a dude.
Look at these guys. I just have a bow and arrow." You know,
yeah.
You really kind of felt, you know, for him.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, "Look, I'm just a normal guy. You know, worry about your own problems later, but I just have a bow, and these guys are metal robots that are,
yeah.
you know, destroying the world." So, you know, that was interesting, and yeah, I think we did get some definitely a little better understanding and some more knowledge about Hawkeye, because I think the Avengers 1, nobody liked Hawkeye.
I
He was
fell
a weird
in
character.
love with Hawkeye's character in this movie because I absolutely loved the scene where Scarlet Witch is trying to like brainwash him, and then he like stabs that arrow into her head, and he's like, I've already been
there,
brainwashed.
done
I'm not
that.
doing it
Yeah.
again. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great scene too. That was an amazing
loved
scene.
it.
I love that too. So, you know, so I think with that we need to talk about Widow, because her this was another character that I kind of had a problem with the way she was portrayed in the film.
And I don't know if it was because she was pregnant during the making of this film, so they had to do a lot of things different.
Maybe.
I'm not sure, but I did not like the whole like love relationship, like, hey big boy, like that was weird.
It's okay to have the love relationship between them, but I think the big problem was them keep saying, you know, hey big boy.
Yeah, and
they're
like,
trying to coax him down.
singing a lullaby, like, seriously, he's not a child.
Hey, big guy. Sun's getting real low.
Yeah,
So, I don't know.
I just didn't care for that. At first, I was like, okay, but they did it a lot.
It was obnoxious.
And I found myself rolling my eyes in the film, like, okay, stop it, seriously.
Stop.
You know, I get that Hulk needs to be calmed down because he's so crazy.
Well, that's
but
the
even
thing.
so, he's not like a child.
Right, well that's the thing, like they try to portray Hulk as this like super angry, uncontrollable thing, but then at the very end of the movie when he's flying away, like he's still as Hulk.
Plain Hulk, maybe. Plain Hulk.
He's not Bruce Banner yet. So he's like flying away, and then Scarlet's like, oh hey, you know, hey big boy, blah blah blah, and he's just like, skew, like he has feelings and he doesn't want her to be there. Like, what?
I think the Hulk.
So I was a little upset with that.
I think the Hulk I like the best is when he can't control his anger and that he smashes things, but he still is Bruce Banner inside the Hulk body, so he still has a mind. But that might be because they're working his character out.
Maybe.
So hopefully we'll get like a Planet Hulk or something where he comes back and he's just hardcore badass, you know. But he's also smart, you know. He's smart. He knows how to smash, you know, Hulk smash, right?
Right.
So you know, we'll see what's going on with his character. But as far as Widow in this, did not care for it.
One thing I did like about Widow's character though is when she was like in that brainwashed trance is when we got to see like her past story and past life, because you don't really get to see much of that.
It's true.
Anywhere. So I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah, there was a scene in the farm in Hawkeye's house where she was talking about how she was a monster. I don't know if they were comparing themselves as monsters, because whether it was her backstory being trained to be a killer assassin.
Yeah.
Some people even are comparing it to her saying that's because she couldn't have a kid. She was a monster.
Yeah.
I'm not real sure. That might have been a little deeper than the way I read it, but
we're doing surface level here.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a dude, man. I just say smash, kill, you know. Oh, she's an awesome assassin in her day.
Yeah, I think that's what they were doing, and then like I think where they were going with that is because Bruce Banner was saying, you know, I can't ever have this like what Hawkeye has with the wife and the kids and the family. He's telling her that he can't ever do that because of like his fear of what will happen.
Yeah.
And I think she was just trying to tell him, you know, like, hey, I can't have this anyways, and all.
So we could be a good couple.
We would be good together because neither one of us can have this.
Yeah. So it could be an interesting couple. I just don't like the way
I don't like
that they kind of
made him
played
seem
on
like
Hulk
a
with
child.
her. Yeah.
That's what bothered me.
It's a little weird. I didn't really care for it, but you know, we'll maybe that later down the road things will change. You know, it didn't ruin the movie for me, obviously.
No.
So, up next we have one of the two, well, maybe one of the three new people that stepped on the scene. We're like, whoa, okay.
Like, oh god.
So we saw Quicksilver. Quicksilver was done so much better than he was in X-Men. Yes. The Days of Future Past he was just like this like kind of hip teenager type guy. I hate those kind of characters. They have like big goggles and they're in a basement somewhere, and I just didn't care for him. Now Quicksilver was maybe one of my favorite characters back in the day when I was reading comics when I was like 6 or 7 or whatever, when I was real young reading the X-Men. Quicksilver was really awesome. He's a really awesome character, so I can't wait to see. I know Fox owns him, but if they ever do get like the X-Men world into this Marvel world, oh my god, that's going to be awesome. But the elephant in the room, spoilers guys, if you've been watching up to this point, please turn it off. What were they thinking?
I have no idea. Maybe they're planning on bringing him back in that regeneration chamber kind of thing. I don't really know, but killing Quicksilver was one of the dumbest things I think they could have done.
Yeah, he's gonna be a big character. I thought he was like really awesome. A lot of people are getting behind Quicksilver.
And I heard from somebody that the reason they did this is because there is another movie coming out where there's a different actor that's going to be playing Quicksilver, and they didn't want the confusion. And I thought that was just a stupid reason. I was like, that cannot be the reason for killing him.
I would think that Marvel and Disney are too full of themselves, not in a bad way, that they know they can make their characters maybe so much better that they don't really care what Fox is doing with X-Men because they think they're doing it better. And I think that's right. Like, I think that the way that they portrayed him was way better than what X-Men did, so I wouldn't even worry about that. So if that is the case,
what a stupid reason.
Bad idea. But I think they're going to bring him back, honestly, because there is a lot. Quicksilver doesn't even barely look like that later on, so maybe he'll come back with like the awesome powers. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Don't want to get on too onto it, but for God's sakes, don't kill Quicksilver. We never really saw like what happened after he got hit.
That's true. That's true. So maybe he's not dead.
Who knows?
I don't know though, because the next character, Scarlet Witch,
the star.
When Quicksilver died, or maybe he didn't die, she
didn't feel it as a twin.
She felt it, and that's why I'm saying maybe he did. I don't know.
Maybe she gets a power because you know, if you guys don't know about Scarlet Witch, this woman is just ridiculously overpowered. She's like a crazy witch, man. She can do anything. Oh
God, I love her.
So maybe they'll give her powers of being able to bring something back. Who knows what they're gonna do with her? But I was really excited to see her in this film the way they did her.
I was so impressed with that actress. Like bow down to her. She did
do an amazing job. You know, she is going to be a huge character.
It gave me goose pimples. I loved her.
For women out there that are watching this film, it's great because I think Widow, since she was portrayed in such a weird way, I think that could have thrown off some of the females that were in there that were wanting a badass female role. And I think Scarlet Witch filled that void, definitely.
Oh, for sure. She was just so strong and powerful. Like, in the beginning, I was like, I don't like this girlie. What is her problem? And
when she was bad,
yeah, and then at the end, I was just like, oh my god, yes, go girl, go! I just couldn't help myself but like root and cheer for her. And like when she was so scared, and then Hawkeye like talked her up, and she just busted out of those doors, and I was like, oh, it's on now.
And they saw the vision of the world coming to an end, basically, when you know, she's a witch. She saw that and she realized, okay, we shouldn't be with Ultron, you know, this is bad. And then they kind of got close to the Avengers and realized that they're out there trying to save the world. And then they flip, you know, they flip scenes, and then hey, here we go. We're good, and Scarlet Witch is awesome. And
I could watch an entire movie just about Scarlet Witch because I loved her, and I love that actress. I cannot wait to see what she does next.
I can't wait if she gets the head thing like what we see in the comics. We'll see, I guess. But anyway, so that's over. My favorite character in this film that was just a amazing, wow, really, guys. You know what I'm talking about because you saw the film out there. Vision. Holy crap, Vision was awesome.
That was so awesome. He came flying out of that chamber, and I was like, oh my god, is he bad? Is he bad?
whoa, yeah.
And everybody was like, shh, calm down, wait, just wait. And I'm like, no, stop him.
The way that he did that, the way that the actor did that was just, it was great. It really was.
So good.
From the outfit to the face paint to his powers to everything.
Yeah.
Vision was the thing to see in this film.
He really was. He was the Vision.
And to be honest with you, I think most of us went to the film to see that Hulkbuster fight. You know, that was the thing that everybody's like, we gotta see. But leaving that movie, I was like, Vision. Vision was really what I took away from that and was like, that guy is so cool.
Yeah.
I really want to see more of this guy, and we're gonna see him more because he's pretty much the Superman of the Marvel world.
I was getting ready
to
say that, like when he's hovering in the air, his legs are in the exact same pose as Superman.
Yeah, his cape
every
though,
time.
man. That cape was amazing.
Oh, yes,
I love Vision. Vision's awesome. Now he's kind of a newer character to me. I've seen him a little bit, you know, in past comics or whatever. But I'm really excited, and a lot of other people are excited to see, you know, who is this guy? What's going on with this guy? Because, you know, we did see that, you know, he's got one of the stones now. Right,
and somebody secret at the end of the movie is looking for that stone.
Yeah, he wants that stone.
Pretty bad.
We can't wait to see what's going to happen with those movies, Civil War and on and on and on. Oh my God, we cannot wait. It's going to be amazing. So with that, we've talked about all the characters. Let's go into the Stan Lee cameo.
Oh my God, of course, I love Stan Lee. I think that he is one of the greatest people ever. And his cameo was by far the best cameo he has ever done. Like, they had all of these veterans together, and they're like, oh, you know, we can do this, we can do that. And then Thor's like, oh no, this is from my land, you can't handle this. And they're like, please, blah, blah, blah. And then Stan Lee is walking out and he goes, Excelsior!
Yeah, he's all drunk. Yeah.
Awesome.
That and Big Hero 6 were like some of the best, and they're close to each other. Some of the best cameos that we saw Stan Lee in. So that was really cool. And we want to keep seeing Stan Lee in all cameos.
Yes,
so.
I want Stan Lee to make a cameo in Daredevil.
Daredevil, yeah.
Just to throw that out there.
And we'll do a review of Daredevil. We got a couple more episodes to go, but wow, that's all I gotta say. So we're excited about doing that one. Great show. So. Okay, so we've talked about that. We've kind of talked about the funny things and the good things. Overall, I think the good things of the movie were there was a lot of action, but the way that the graphics were some of the best that I've seen. Especially like the scene where the camera like pivots and you see all of them. You know, there's some really good stuff there, no doubt about it. So graphic-wise, amazing. The explosions, the raising land, just Ultron. I think a lot of the character designs. It was a task in this film.
Oh, I'm sure. And Ultron's jaw. Let me just talk about that jaw. That was some of the prettiest stuff I've ever seen. Like the little circle on the side. I love that.
It really was cool. Now, talking about that, let's just go right into the bad things because the Ultron for some reason bothered me. I don't know why. I didn't like that his mouth moved like a human.
I kind of like that.
Yes, I understand that it'd be hard to display his emotions and stuff like that without that. Right. But it's just hard for me to imagine a robot even needing a mouth almost,
yeah, it's not
you know?
Very realistic. I think it probably would have been better had it been more robotic or like one of those like digital things. Or maybe more along the lines of like Transformers, how their mouths move instead of this, because he did talk like a human.
Yeah, because they said that, I think the way I understood it is they were saying that he needed a mouth like that to be able to, you know, pronounce words and things like that. But why does he need it? He's a computer, you know. He could literally like have a speaker in there.
Yeah, but I really I don't want like a Siri voice talking to me, so I can get it.
That's true. I can see that. I don't know. Just one of the like small things that I just didn't care for. And his attitude, I just kind of pictured.
He was sassy.
Yeah, I kind of pictured him more as just like hardcore mean, but he really wasn't.
He was kind of a drama queen, so.
A little bit, yeah. So, you know, and of course, you know, he's not gone yet, I'm sure. Even though it looked like it, I doubt he's gone. You know, we got to see this
something that you said when we were leaving the theater, he had a lot of comedy in it because he was built and designed by Tony Stark. If it has some of his, like, personality in him, I don't know, because I didn't really care. Like, his one-liners were kind of funny, but it got a little overwhelming.
Yeah, maybe a little more comedy than I like. Yeah, for my villain. You know, when I see a villain, I look at him as like, he needs to be the guy that everybody fears. And I feel like that whole movie, I was never fearful of Ultron.
No, I feel like when there was like a really tense scene where you're like, oh my god, stuff's getting real, then Ultron would throw out a wisecrack and it'd just be like, wait,
yeah, and they'd flip it to another action scene and you'd be like, oh, I'm confused. Okay, hold on. So, you know, that was one of the problems with the movie. Not only were there just so many things going on and it was hard to follow, that you could definitely tell, you know, as like Joss Whedon said, there's a lot of things that have been cut. you can definitely tell where things were cut and what needs to be explained more. You know, and I don't fault Joss. I mean, he's great. I mean, he's amazing. There's like there's nobody in Hollywood that could do this better. Not that I know of, you know. And, you know, so I don't fault him. But he did say that his first movie, his first cut was 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
And this movie's 2.5 hours long.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have like an extended, really long version.
We will. They've already announced that, and he said that when the movie comes out, it's going to be another half-hour long. And they're going to have some scenes and stuff like that too. So half-hour long is a long time in a movie.
Oh, for sure. There's so much stuff you can add and fill in on that plot.
That's 1/5 of the movie.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot that we might be able to see. We're definitely going to buy it, obviously, so we can rewatch it and see. I just felt like watching it, you know, it's not the type of movie. It wasn't better than Avengers 1. Not to me. Even though I was not, to be honest with you, I didn't think Avengers 1 was even that great.
This one was probably on the same level as Avengers 1 because I liked that we brought in new characters.
Yeah, and Loki was kind of more. I mean, we've seen Loki in Avengers 1. We were like, eh. Oh,
although
Loki.
I thought for sure Loki would make like a cameo or something.
Well, he was in there a little bit, but
yeah,
you know,
but
we saw his staff. But,
everybody
you know.
loves Loki, so I thought he would be in there a little bit more.
Yeah, we did see.
I miss Loki.
That brings the point, though. We did see a lot of Marvel characters in this movie.
Yes.
A lot of them, which is really cool to see.
That's what I loved about this movie.
War Machine had a great scene.
Yeah, and then at the very end when we saw like the new Avengers team, like when everything was like sort of dismantled, because you know that they're gonna come back. So I mean,
yeah, we got new ones. We got a new team. You know, Spider-Man's supposed to be coming. So Black Panther. You know, there's a lot of War Machines in there now. Falcon's got some good stuff.
Oh my God, I miss Falcon.
Yeah, will Falcon become Captain America? I don't know what's gonna happen. We haven't even gone through Bucky Barnes.
Chris Evans
Who knows?
cannot leave yet. I'm not done looking at his face. So.
I don't think they're gonna do that. I doubt they'll do that. I think Falcon on his own. Falcon needs to be his own character because he's a cool character. You know, he's a great side guy. You know what I mean? He's
a good sidekick.
Yeah, he's a great sidekick. You know, and they need to stay with that. Yeah, there's a lot to be said about Falcon. He's a cool, awesome character. You know? So we did see that. You know, we're gonna have a lot of new characters in it, and that's one thing about Avengers 2 that was great is that we saw a lot of new characters. It introduced a lot of new characters to people that didn't know about them. And, you know, that was a big thing. Now, if I was going to compare or rate them compared to other Marvel films as of late, I would rate it third out of 3, personally. Because I think
be your top ones.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that was really good.
Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Winter Soldier was amazing.
It was good.
Now, I don't know if Guardians of the Galaxy or Winter Soldier was better. It's hard to say because I think they were so great.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy was probably better because it gave us a different view into the Marvel Universe that we haven't seen for a while.
And since they had so many characters, I thought they played very well on all of those characters.
Yes.
I think with this movie, I mean, every character got their shot, but
I feel like they didn't get enough screen time in this one, and then in Guardians of the Galaxy, they had a lot of characters. However, they only had the 4 main stars of the show that didn't, and they kind of shared the screen equally. So that's what I really
I think
enjoyed.
just overall the story was tough to follow with Avengers 2. With all those characters, there was just a lot of things going on, and there wasn't an underlying story. Because I personally was never fearful that Ultron was going to win. You know, I rarely had.
It's the Avengers, you know they're gonna win.
They were just robots, but that's okay. We saw it, we were happy. I think we're you know, it's a movie. It was great. It was summer. We want to see action packed. We want to see superhero movies. Right. I just didn't think it was an amazing, you know, storyline in itself. It could have been, but you could definitely tell a lot was cut. So not a big deal, but I'd still rate it like an 8 out of 10. It was still awesome.
Oh,
I did.
I would probably go with like an 8.5, closer to a 9, because I thought that the development of the characters is what I really liked about this movie. I feel like if the 30 minutes to an hour hadn't been cut, I mean, who cares if a movie's 3 hours long? Look, we had Avatar, which was ungodly long, which it probably could have been cut about an hour, let's be honest. So I would have been okay with this movie being 3 hours long.
Well, I think the problem why they don't want a 3-hour movie when you're talking about a superhero movie is a lot of times you have a lot of children that go to it. And I think they're worried about.
Suck it up, kid.
That's right. Suck it up and eat your popcorn.
Adults want a long movie.
That's right. So, you know, there was that. So, well, that was great. But what I'm excited for is the future and what we're going to see. So, like we said, you did see Thanos, which was, it wasn't a great, like, in roll scene, credit scene, whatever. It was short, and I thought it could have been really cool, but we did see you know, he's ready, man.
Oh, he was just like, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Be ready. And I'm like, yes.
He's ready for those Infinity Stones. I can't wait. I just can't wait
for all these characters, all of our favorites, all of these new characters to come together and just be like, oh my god, your mind is just going to be like, poof.
Yeah, I want to see a Planet Hulk film. I'm hoping that's what they're talking about. So we'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see. So there you go, guys. That's kind of our personal opinion of how Avengers 2 went for us, anyway. So put in the comments what you thought. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are you excited for? You know. So I don't know. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.